All right. Shabbat Shalom, Bruchim Habaim. Welcome to our rocking Shabbat service this evening. Before we begin, let's just take a moment. Just turn to somebody near you, ideally somebody you don't know, and wish them a Shabbat Shalom. In our Kabbalat Shabbat service, our service for the welcoming of Shabbat, our liturgy takes us through a journey. We just sang Ki V'Moed, for the appointed time has come, taken from Psalm 102, where we celebrate that the time of Shabbat, our day of rest, regeneration, community, family and friends, has arrived. As we pray together this evening, I invite you to think about how we can work to make this a sacred time together from now until the end of Shabbat in around about 25 hours' time tomorrow. At this point in our service, I would ask the Myra family to please come up and help us with lighting of our Shabbat candles in honor of Jojo's Bat Mitzvah, which we will be celebrating tomorrow morning. And you'll find the blessing for the lighting of the candles on page 120. Please join us. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kiddushanu b'mitzvotav, v'tzivanu להדליק נר של שבת. And we're going to continue on page 138 with the singing of Lecha Dodi. And as is our minhag, our custom here at Congregation Sinai, we're going to do verses 1, 2, 5, and 9. And when we reach the final of those verses, verse 9, at that point in the service, I will invite you then to please rise. For now, page 138 for Lecha Dodi. Lecha Dodi likrat kala, b'nei Shabbat mekabela. Lecha Dodi likrat kala, b'nei Shabbat mekabela. Please remain standing and turn to page 144 as we mark the transition from our Kabbalat Shabbat service, our service for welcoming the Shabbat, and into our Ma'arif service, our service for the evening with the Chatzi Kaddish, the half Kaddish. Page 144. Yitgadal v'kadash shemei Rabbah v'yamad v'rachelotei v'yamlich malchutei B'chayechon u'v'yomechon u'v'chayei lechol Beit Yisrael Pagala u'v'zman kari v'yimeru Amen Yehei shmei Rabbah mevarach le'alam olam le'am haya Yitbarach Yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitraman v'yitnaseh v'yitadar v'yithaleh v'yithalal shemei dekudesha b'richu le'ela min kol berachata v'shirata tushbechata v'nechemata tamiran b'yama v'yimeru Amen. Page 146 for the Baruch Hu. And please join us on page 148 for Roll into Dark, a contemporary poetic setting of our Ma'ariv Aravim blessing, our blessing for bringing on the evening. And we're going to continue on page 150 as we sing our Ahavat Olam in preparation for the Shema. Page 150. We'll continue with the Shema on page 152. Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. Shema Yisrael. be seated and join us for the Ve'ahavta on page 154. Ve'ahavta et Adonai Elohecha b'chol levavcha u'b'chol nafshecha u'b'chol meodecha ve'hayu hadvarim ha'ele asher anochi mitzavecha hayom al levavecha v'shinantam levanecha v'dibarta bam בשבתך בביתך ובלכתך בדרך ובשוכבך ובקומך וקשרתם לאות על ידיך והיו לטוטפות בין עיניך וכתבתם על מזוזות ביתך ובשעריך למען תזכרו ועשיתם את כל מצוותיי והייתם קדושים לאלוהיכם. אני אדוני אלוהיכם, אשר הוצאתי אתכם מארץ מצרים, להיות לכם לאלוהים. אני אדוני אלוהיכם, אדוני אלוהיכם, אמת. And let's continue reading together at the top of page 157. Standing on the parted shores of history, we still believe what we were taught before ever we stood at Sinai's foot, that wherever we go, it is eternally Egypt, that there is a better place, a promised land, that the winding way to that promise passes through the wilderness. There is no way to get from here to there except by joining hands, marching together. Page 158. And we'll continue at the top of page 161. Please join me. Let there be love and understanding among us. Let peace and friendship be our shelter from life's storms. Adonai, help us to walk with good companions, to live with hope in our hearts and eternity in our thoughts, that we may lie down in peace and rise up waiting to do your will. Baruch atah Adonai, hapores sukat shalom aleinu ve'al kol amo Yisrael ve'al Yerushalayim. Page 162.
ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורתם לברית עולם. ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורתם לברית עולם. ביני ובין בני ישראל, בני ישראל, אותי לעולם. ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורתם לברית עולם. כי ששת ימים עשה אדוני את השמיים ואת הארץ. ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורתם לברית עולם. וביום השביעי שבת וינפש, שבת וינפש, שבת וינפש. ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורתם לברית עולם. ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורתם לברית עולם.
And please turn to page 164 and rise as we come to the heart of our service, to our Amidah.
וזוכר חסדי אבות ואימהות, ומביא גאולה לבני בניהם, למען שמו באהבה. מלך עוזר ומושיע ומגן, ברוך אתה אדוני, מגן אברהם בעזרת שרה. אתה גיבור לעולם אדוני, מחיי הכל אתה רב להושיע. משיב הרוח ומוריד הגשם, מכלכל חיים בחסד, מחיי הכל ברחמים רבים. סומך נוכלים ורופא חולים, ומכיר אסורים, ומקיים אמונתו לשני עפר, מי כמוך בעל גבורות, ומיתו מלך, מלך ממית ומחיה, ומצמיח ישועה, ונאמן אתה להחיות הכל. ברוך אתה אדוני, מחיי הכל. אתה קדוש ושמך קדוש, וקדושים בכל יום יהללוך סלה. ברוך אתה אדוני, האל הקדוש.
Please be seated. And let's continue reading together at the top of page 173. May these hours of rest and renewal open our hearts to joy and our minds to truth. May all who struggle find rest on this day. May all who suffer find solace. May all who hurt find healing on this day. May all who despair find purpose. May all who hunger find fulfillment on this day. And may this day fulfill its promise. Baruch atah Adonai, Mekadesh HaShabbat. And at the top of page 175, Ever-present one, may we, your people Israel, be worthy in our deeds and our prayer, wherever we live, wherever we seek you, in this land, in Zion restored, in all lands, you are our God, whom alone we serve in reverence. Baruch atah Adonai, she'otcha levadcha b'yir'ah na'avod. And at the top of page 177, God of goodness, we give thanks for the gift of life, wonder beyond words, for the awareness of soul, our light within, for the world around us so filled with beauty, for the richness of the earth which day by day sustains us. For all these and more we offer thanks. Baruch atah Adonai, hatov shimcha ulecha na'eh lehodot. Page 178. Shalom Rav Yisrael Amcha Tasim Leolam. Shalom Rav Yisrael Amcha Tasim Leolam. Ki atahu melech adon lecho hashalom. Ki atahu melech adon lecho hashalom. Shalom Rav al Yisrael Amcha Tasim Leolam. Shalom Rav al Yisrael Amcha Tasim Leolam. V'tov be'einecha levarech et amecha Yisrael bechol עת ובכל שעה בשלומך. Shalom Rav al Yisrael Amcha Tasim Leolam. Shalom Rav al Yisrael Amcha Tasim Leolam. Tasim Leolam. Tasim Leolam. Blessed are you, Adonai, who blesses your people Israel and all people with peace. Baruch atah Adonai, and varech et amo Yisrael, ba shalom. And we'll take just a few moments for our own personal prayer and reflection before we come back together on page 180 for our Oseh Shalom, for our prayer for peace.
Shalom Aleinu ve'akol Yisrael ve'imeru Amen. Oseh Shalom Miromav Uyaseh Shalom Say shalom aleinu ve'akol Yisrael ve'imeru amen. Oseh shalom bimroma uyaseh shalom aleinu ve'akol Yisrael ve'imeru
While we do recognize Shabbat very much to be a time of joy and a time for celebration, we also know that when we come together to pray, there are those among us who are in need of healing. In just a few moments, we're going to sing our Misha Berach together, which you'll find on page 371. And today, our community prays for Diane Aladort, the family of Robert Basson, Sarah bat Besiva ben, Bracha bat Miriam, Rivka Fegi bat Phyllis, Sapira bat Yehudit, Sandy Bradley, Marilyn Beach, Emily Bear, Simcha Meir ben Esther Malka, Yosef Carrasco, Moshe ben Chaye Sarah, Joseph ben Lily Venatan, Kevin Boland, Katie Pels Davis, Leonore Friedman, Lisa Frolkus, Susie Garrison, Marianne Gehrig, David Goldenholtz, Greg Harris, Jennifer Houston, Anne Horowitz, Robert Israel, Deedham Eater, Michelle Jacoby, Anne Copeland, Catherine Lamb, Rory Langos, Joseph Marcus, Jack Marvin, Jim McDermott, Karen McDermott, Kathy Menchero, Donald Metzke, Beverly Miller, Robert Neno, Bill Nikud, Vicky Padway, Bob Radke, Mosey Ramirez, Marcia Reese, Bill Ross, Martha Ross, Micah Ross, Ed Schwartz, Gary Siegel, Susan Arma Zeidman, Herbert Selden, Jim Thuron, Deirdre Tischberg, Brooke Glass, and Jen Volker. And if there is anybody else who you're thinking of today, I would invite you to hold their names in your hearts as we sing our Misha Berach together on page 371.
Before us, help us find the courage to make our lives a blessing, and let us say Amen. Mishe berach imotenu nekor habracha lavotenu lestos in with refuah shelema, the renewal of body, the renewal of spirit, and let us say Amen.
It is usually our practice at this service to keep it light and to share a story, usually a story with a pretty good message in it. But this week I'm feeling a little bit heavier and burdened by what's going on in the world, and wanted to share a couple of thoughts. I've been writing a letter to my non-Jewish friends. What's going on with Jews right now in the United States and in Israel as well? And there's just several points I'm going to try to make in this, and you can feel free to use these yourself, should you be in a similar situation. The first is, and sort of the foremost, is that Jews are in a position of trying to hold two competing feelings and ideas at once. The first is, on one hand, terrible, just a sick feeling in the pit of our stomach for the horror that occurred on Saturday, the October 7th, in the area just outside of Gaza. You've all read the news, you've all seen some videos. I won't belabor those points, But suffice to say that this was for the Israeli psyche and for the American Jewish psyche a tremendous thump. We were told over the past 75 years that if you were Jewish, you could be safe in one place on earth, and that place would be the state of Israel. And it's not that Israel hasn't been attacked before by foreign armies. This was very, very different. This was people being shot in their beds, trying to save their children. This was just a horror show. And many American Jews in Milwaukee have family and friends in Israel. I scanned the newspaper hoping not to find the name of a friend's grandchild or child among those who have been killed. And it's just a matter of time right now before that happens. Yet another sick feeling in the stomach. That, on one hand, trying to grapple with yet another set of feelings that are in a way very similar, but very countervailing in a way as well. And that is feeling terrible for the mourning of the lives being lost in Gaza right now. I would hasten to say, I don't mean to say there's an equivalence between one place and the other. On the other hand, or a justification for what's gone on, and yet, children are children, families are families. The pain is real on both sides, no matter what ethical justification there might be in trying to remove one's enemies before they can strike again. This can't be the best way of doing it. I say that under advisement simply because having lived and worked in Israel for a number of years, I know what it feels like over there. So I know that I would not presume to speak for Israeli friends and cousins who are in the midst of what's happening right now. I want to make sure people who aren't Jewish understand that they're getting a very reductive summary of what is going on there right now. Left out of this, for the most part, and many of you, I'm sure, read deeper than many, but not everybody understands that Hamas and Islamic Jihad and Hezbollah are all proxies for Iran. And the reason this happened when it happened was because Iran was getting worried that Israel and Saudi Arabia were going to sign a peace treaty. And that would be, for Iran, very, very bad news. So they set free their proxies to do what they do, to do what they're continuing to do. And it worked. You know, Saudi Arabia in no way can move forward with any peace with Israel right now because of what's going on. The second thing is that the nature of these proxy groups, Hezbollah and Islamic Jihad and Hamas, is that they're all composed of fundamentalists, really extreme fundamentalists, who are really, when it comes to the end of the day, not interested in building a Palestinian state. That's not what they're in this for. They're not interested in negotiating anything, except maybe the exchange of prisoners. That could be something they'd be interested in talking about, and I'm sure they are. But they're not interested in establishing a Palestinian state alongside of Israel. They're interested in getting rid of Israel. They feel deeply that that part of the world is for Arabs, and it's to have Jews there is just from their sense, you know, despite our 2,000, 3,000 year connection to that locale, they view us as interlopers, people who should, quote unquote, go back to Europe, go back to where we came from. On the other hand, for many from Europe, there's nowhere to go back to, number one. And number two, in Israel today, more than half the people alive, families came from Arab countries. They're Arab Jews, in essence, from Morocco, from North Africa, from Syria, a few even from Lebanon. It's a very heterogeneous group there from different cultures. There's Jews from Ethiopia, Jews from India, Jews from some of whom spent World War II in Shanghai, trying to escape Germany. It's not quite as simple as some people make it to be. But it's important to understand these groups are not interested. If you read what's being said in the English press, and then you read what's being said in the Arab press, you'll see that it's very, very different messages. And if you saw a translation, you'd say, oh, these people are not really interested in living side by side. They're interested in finishing the existence of the Jewish state. The last thing I would want to include in this letter is the following. For reasons that I touched on before, relating to the psyche being injured and a sense of well-being being threatened for Jews around the world and in Israel, there is the related but separate issue of the recrudescence of anti-Semitism, this anti-Semitism that is welling up, that may have been tamped down effectively over the last few decades. But guess what? It's still there, and it still threatens us terribly. It arises out of all sorts of communities. But I would say perhaps the most distressing for me are Jews who are younger than me, which is many of them, who just don't have any sense of connection with the state of Israel. They, in part because they weren't around during the state's early years. For anybody born after 1982, all they know is the Lebanon War and following, which has been bad news pretty consistently. At a recent Shabbat table, a friend of mine in Dallas had a student, a 25-year-old student, who said, I have a very good life. I'm very involved Jewishly. I've got Jewish friends. I go to synagogue. I do other things. I work at camp. What do I need Israel for? There's several generations of American Jews who are coming from that standpoint. They don't understand what the value might be of Israel, and not only as a miklat, as a safe haven, but also as an important anchor for the rest of the Jewish world. I have a hard time when people of any group in any age say, well, I can't call what Hamas did terrorism. It's resistance. It's an understandable reaction to the last, depending whether you're saying 50 or 70 years of Israel's history. There are some people for whom the butchery that occurred on the 7th of October doesn't fit into the category of terrorism. And to those people, I challenge them to say, if this was any other group than the Jews, would you really be saying that? I mean, listen to how that sounds. That people being killed and tortured and burned and beheaded, etc., that this is somehow not the worst human behavior possible is somewhat beyond belief. What hurts me more is when I see Jewish kids doing it too. And I don't blame them, they just don't know. They've been taught, for them, Judaism is the message of seeking justice and reaching out to your neighbor. and for making the world a better place. And from that vantage point, it seems very clear to them that the important thing here is to side with the underdog and to try to work out something that will preserve their safety and rights as well, which is a very good, I don't mean to in any way undercut that aspiration. However, if Jewish teenagers and 20-year-olds and 30-year-olds are thinking that and saying it, we've got a really big problem on our hands, which is never the way you should end a talk on Shabbat. Because who has ever said that Jews have a problem on their hands? It seems like it's totally out of our experience. Anyway, I hope if you have similar conversations with Jewish friends, non-Jewish friends, some of these points may stick a little bit. Because if only rhetorically, there's some power to it. And I hope that, my sincere hope, is that this ends as quickly as it started, that all of the Chatufim, the people who were kidnapped, are returned to their place, to their homes, and that an international coalition comes in to try to rebuild Gaza and to make it possible for a group to reign there, which is not dedicated to the destruction of the state of Israel. So with that hope, we move on. You ready?
As we bring our service to a close, I would ask you to please rise and turn to page 586 for the Aleinu. Aleinu l'shabeach l'adon hakol, לתת גדולה ליוצא בראשית, שלא עשנו כגויי הארצות, ולא שמנו כמשפחות האדמה, שלא שם חלקנו כהם, וגורד עלינו ככל המונם. ואנחנו קוראים ומשתחווים ומודים לפני מלך מלכי המלכים, הקדוש ברוך הוא. ונאמר ויען אדוני למלך על כל הארץ ביום ההוא תהיה אדוני אחד, ושמו In just a few moments, we're going to recite our Kaddish Yatom, our mourners' Kaddish together. And this week, our community prays for Margot Hirsch, who was laid to rest yesterday, and the following who've died within the past year: Jim Stillman, James P. Karolovich, John D. Lubotsky, Kermit Bott, Ruth Lowenstein, Foster Padway, Geraldine Schmidman, Jack Zivell, Jacqueline Wagner, Doris Gendelman, Harriet Hackman, Marianne Greenebaum, Robert Sanderson, Shirley Slomowitz, Ronald Abel, Leonard Lowasser, Richard Strauss, James Ansfield, Natalie Winowich, Carol Ann Willems, Thomas Yanni, Victor Rabb, Dr. Hermes J. Hoffman, Nicholas Winowich, Leanne E. Borkowitz, Thompson John, Morty Blutstein, Barbara Wyman, Ralph Marshall Gorin, Edith Lank, Susan Melanie Siegel, Don Polacek, and Bev Colton. And we also mark the Yarratt site, the anniversary of death of William Cobb, Dr. Irvin Colton, Sidney Eisenberg, Joan Fraser, Rose Friedman, Lou Goldstein, Charlotte Graben, Dr. Bernard Horowitz, Shirley Jacobson, Louis Jerome Jalton, Edwin Levine, Nancy Mandel, Alice Quaterman, Jem Romero, Samuel Safro, Carol Siegel Zdatny, Janet Stillman, Simon Tolkien, Helen Weber, and Harriet Weiss. And if there is anybody else you're remembering this evening, or anybody whose name I unintentionally mispronounced, I would invite you to share their names with us now.
Nancy Herman Platt. Neil Roger.
The Israeli soldiers who died defending Eretz Yisrael.
And we'll continue with the Kaddish Yatom on page 598. Yitgadal v'yitkadash Shemei Rabbah. Be'alma divrach chilotev yamlich malchutei. B'chayechon v'yomechon u'v'chayei dechol Beit Yisrael. Ba'agala u'vizman kariv v'imaru Amen. Yehei Shemei Rabbah mevarach li'alam u'almei almaya. Yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitramam v'yitnaseh v'yitadar v'yitaleh v'yithalal Shemei dekudesha berichu le'ela min kol birchata v'shirata tushbechata v'nechemata da'amiran be'alma v'imru Amen. Yehei shlama rabba min shemaya v'chayim aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'imru Amen. Oseh shalom b'mromav Hu ya'aseh shalom, aleinu v'al kol Yisrael, v'imru Amen. May the one who creates harmony on high bring peace to us, to all Israel, and to all people, to which we say, Amen.
Amen.
Please be seated.
Shabbat Shalom, everyone. I'm Jenny Goldbaum. I'm a member of the Board of Trustees. I'm going to read our announcements this evening. Today's Oneg is sponsored by Robert and Kathleen Powell in memory of Junius Powell Jr. and Michael and Anna Myrer in honor of JoJo's bat mitzvah. We are grateful for the contributions made this week to our Sinai community in memory of Aaron Bach, Phyllis Ellis, Lou Goldstein, Dr. Bernard Horwitz, Shirley Jacobson, Louis Jerome Jolton, Nancy Mandel, Emil Neubauer, and in honor of Jen and Ari Friedman. Join us for the following upcoming programs. Sinai Brewing, Sunday, November 5th at Sinai at 8 a.m. Contact Gordy Goldbaum or Alan Silverman to sign up, or please just come on by, and don't forget about daylight savings. Achinu in person, the men's spirituality group, is on Sunday, November 5th as well at Sinai at 8:30, and contact Mitch for details or to sign up. In the Rabbi Study with special guest Murray Bernstein, Sunday, November 5th, 10 to 11:30 a.m. at Congregation Sinai. Israel Power Hour with Rabbi Cohn, Sunday, November 5th at 6 p.m. College and high school students near and far can join Rabbi Cohn on Zoom. Link is provided in the Sinai newsletter. Tabletop games, Saturday, November 11th, 5:30 to 9 p.m. at Congregation Sinai, and you can RSVP to Josh by November 8th. Itsy Bitsy Sinai, which is for birth to 4 years old, Sunday, November 12th at 10:15 a.m. at Sinai, and you can RSVP to Natalie. Brit Nashim is meeting on Monday, November 13th at 7 p.m. via Zoom, and all Sinai women are welcome and encouraged to join. Sages, Zen Autumn Leaves, a guided art and brain wellness class, is Wednesday, November 15th from 1 to 2:30 p.m. via Zoom, and you can register through the Sinai newsletter. The Zoom link will follow, and register by November 8th. Please refer to the Tuesday and the Friday Sinai e-news for the latest Sinai programming information. And Shabbat Shalom and Mazel Tov to JoJo.
And once again, it is my honor to call back the Myra family to lead us in Kiddush in celebration of JoJo's Bar Mitzvah tomorrow morning. You'll find the blessings on page 123. And as we are making Kiddush, I would invite you to please rise and, of course, to join us. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, borei peri hagafen. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kitshanu b'mitzvotav v'ratzavanu, v'shabbat kodsho b'yahava uvratzon hinchilanu, zikaron l'maaseh v'reishit, ki hu yom techila l'mikra'ei kodesh, zecher l'yitziat Mitzrayim. Kivanu v'acharta ve'otanu kidashta mikol ha'amim ve'shabbat kodshecha be'ahava u'v'ratzon hinchaltanu Baruch atah Adonai mekadesh ha'shabbat l'chaim. And please join us for the Hamotzi. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, Hamotzi lechem min haaretz b'te'avon. Before we sing our final song, Salam and Kiva Moed, I would just like to say a big thank you to, first of all, to Julie for joining me up here on the Bima, and also to our Rocking Shabbat band. We have Carlos and Bennett on percussion, Guy Fiorentini on bass, Rabbi Cohen on keyboard, proving the point, Rachel playing her flute, and of course Karen Horowitz on piano. Thank you so much. All right, please join us, Salam and Kiva Moed, and I would invite you to both remain standing and sing out as we sing our final song together. Od yavo shalom aleinu, Od yavo shalom aleinu, Od yavo shalom aleinu ve'al kulam. Od yavo shalom aleinu, Od yavo shalom aleinu, Od yavo shalom aleinu ve'al kulam. Salam, salam aleinu ve'al kol ha'olam. Salam, 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 salam aleinu. Shabbat Shalom. Thank you for joining us for our services this evening, and we'll see you in the Oneg.
Shabbat Shalom. Okay, I gotta have some. Yum yum. What?